Max, you're in a unique position here because your first start in college was against the 2016 Alabama defense. And Arch Manning made a pretty decent, I think, decent appearance against a really good Ohio State defense coached up by Matt Patricia. I'm not sure they're at the 2016 Alabama level, Max, but where does Arch stand now in the aftermath of his performance this weekend, you think?
Yeah, I'll go to the grave saying I had the toughest week one start of any quarterback back in the day. A lot of those guys are still playing in the NFL 9 years later.
Still balling.
But no, I thought Arch Manning played a bad game, but he's not a bad quarterback. And if people are selling their Arch Manning stock, give me a call because I'm buying. I think you could tell that was just a bad game for him. And the reason I know that is because of the way Sark was calling plays. I thought he was even more quarterback-oriented with his play calls than he was with Quinn Ewers behind center, which people might push back on that and say, well, maybe that's the problem, is you need to trust the run game and don't put the whole game in your quarterback's arm. But I thought actually my biggest concern with Arch Manning after week one was the mechanics and the footwork, which is beyond ironic because of his last name. But you look at those interceptions, you look at some of the throws that got away from him, his base is not matching up his upper body. He does this kind of whiplash thing on some of those throws that reminds me of a young Josh Allen in the NFL before he got right. That, to me, is, I'm sure, what Sark is hammering to Arch all week long in practice.
I also want to get into the mental sort of capabilities of one Arch Manning, because I remember you having a post on your social media that I always appreciated, Max, in the light bulb concept, in that it's not necessarily an epiphany a lot of times for QBs. It is the reps that sort of build up the confidence, and I'm wondering if that's the sort of dynamic that we can expect from Arch Manning over the course of a year when he has these 3 weeks, frankly, to go fine-tune some stuff. Ain't nobody going to be watching him against these lower tier teams, how he can build upon that.
Yeah, what you're alluding to is the worst quarterback coaching advice that I ever got, which I swear did not come from Sark, who was also one of my head coaches. But it was this coaching point of, hey, the light bulb's going to come on. The light bulb's going to come on. And you're sitting there waiting as a young quarterback of like, one day this light bulb's going to turn on and I'm going to be an NFL quarterback the very next day. That's just not reality. You got to take it step by step, rep by rep, day in and day out, which might sound easy. It's a different beast when you're a 5-star quarterback, expectations of the world on you. I think Arch is going to get there, though. Like, for that to be his first big-time start, I know it wasn't his first start in college, I wouldn't say he looked overwhelmed. I saw people say he looked lost. To me, that's more of Matt Patricia in that defense and Texas offense not getting off to an early start early on in that game. But it's not a byproduct of, you see a lot of quarterbacks that you can tell they don't know where to go with their eyes. They're not getting through their reads. That wasn't the story for Arch. So I remain optimistic about the Longhorn starting quarterback.
Real quick, Max, I went to Pepperdine. We didn't have football, but I was there the same time you were at USC. And I was at your Utah State game, which was right after the Alabama game. Nobody talks about that. I don't hear anybody talking about that. That was awesome. You were slinging it.
Love that. First touchdown in the Coliseum for me was to Juju Smith-Schuster, baby.
That's right.
There we
Let's
go.
go.
Utah State.